Everybody, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey. Number one craft here is cross stitch, but I also knit and crochet. Crochet hasn't made an appearance for a couple of months, but that's okay. I only have one crochet whip and I'll get to it eventually. Thank you so much to everyone that has been checking out my channel and giving me a chance. I do appreciate it. I am a little bit different than some of the other YouTubers that you will see, so I do hope that you stick around for at least a couple of videos to see what I'm all about and how I operate. I appreciate you stopping by, whether you're new or returning. I know there's a lot of people out there that you could be watching, so I do appreciate that you chose me to watch for a little while. This week we have some knitting and cross stitch to talk about. I have some acquirements, let's say. So let's go ahead and talk about all of the things. So last week I did my WIP wheel. I spin a decisions wheel every single week to see what WIP I'm going to work on. I'm pretty happy with doing that. Sometimes I do like to do my own thing and go, you know, just rogue, I guess. But this past week it did land on Pumpkin Carriage by Owl Force Embroidery. It is a freebie on their website. They have a lot of amazing things on their website, so go check them out. I did start working on this before I filmed the video last week, and I told you that I had a feeling that I could get this done because I just had to continue the vines and the pumpkins across the top and do the top border, 2 pumpkins on the bottom, boom, bam, done. And I was able to accomplish that goal. So here we go. Pumpkin Carriage by Owl Force Embroidery. Stitching this on 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed, and I'm using the called for DMC conversion listed on the chart. So as you can see, I finished the vines and the pumpkins that arch around the top, and then the top border, and then the 2 pumpkins down below the carriage. That was all I needed to do, and it went really quickly. I'm really happy with it. I hope to get this finished this fall. I know fall is here and we're now into October, but I hope to get this done. I decorate with pumpkins and all that kind of thing all the way through Thanksgiving, and then we decorate for Christmas. So if I hurry up and get this done, it will go alongside. Owl Force Embroidery has a free pattern called Pumpkins, and I stitched that last year. So this will go beside it. So I'm, of course, happy to get another finish. That is, what did I get? The bee done, right? The bee from Amy Brucken Designs. I got Where There Are Bees, not only the big piece, but the 2 small pieces. And now I have this one. Man, I'm just racking them up. That wheel knows what it's doing. The girls at Julie and Alyssa from Stitching at the Cabin also use wheels, and they always say the wheel knows what it's doing. And I know it's inanimate, but it just seems like this week, the last couple of weeks since I started using it again, it just knows what it's doing. So I was able to finish Pumpkin Carriage on Tuesday, and I said to myself, now what? So Wednesday, I had work conference, virtual work conference, and we are allowed to do them at home so that way we can participate with no interruptions. So I did not have morning commute or afternoon commute, so I had a little bit extra time. So I picked up Bee Study by Kathy Barrick. And if you were with me last week when I showed you the progress from the previous week, I needed to do the bee here because I had to rip them out and start over. The 2 little bees here, the 8 around the bee sky, finish this guy and do the words. And then I had some stitches here and there because I ran out of floss. So not a horribly, is that the right use of the word? Not a ton of stitching left to do, but enough. So I got working on it in the morning when I woke up, and I'm stitching this on 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. This is a lighter piece versus the Pumpkin Carriage. I'm using the DMC conversion listed on the chart if you're interested in that. And this is the completed piece. I was able to get it done. The bees, there's 10 of them all together, 8 here and the 2 up here. They took me forever. It's just because 3 stitches of this color, 6 stitches of that color, 4 stitches of that color. Oh, you forgot that they all need back stitching. But I was able to get this done on Wednesday before I went to bed. I was able to stay awake all the way until bedtime. I did not fall asleep in the chair, and I was able to get it done. And this project has a lot of floss to go back into my stash. So that's always exciting, where you can then take the floss out of your project and go put it towards something else. That's a money saver. And those of you that have been here with me for a while, you know that I have to be very frugal with my stuff. So I'm very happy to be able to put these back in, so that way I can hopefully kit up projects. And we'll talk about that in a bit. So I got that done on Pumpkin Carriage done on Tuesday, Bee Study done on Wednesday. I'm really on a roll. And I said, okay, now what? I don't really know what I talked about last week because my phone was giving me fits. I had to cut out a bunch of the conversation. But during that conversation, whether you got to see it or not, I was talking about kind of getting the feeling that even though I had this goal to get all of my knitting whips done, I kind of had a feeling of I wanted to cast on something new. I didn't. I was such an adult. I finished my Devil Snare sock. So I started this as part of the summer sock camp hosted by the Crazy Sock Lady here on YouTube. And this was supposed to be my 3rd pair. I wanted to get 4 pairs done this summer. Last summer I got 8 because I did some worsted weight pairs. And I did not get 4. I got 2.5. I did the first sock. I really struggled with the lace pattern. It was horrible. Not that the lace pattern, it was written well. The graph worked great. It was me. I was having trouble. Then I cast this one on with the wrong ribbing. It was supposed to be 1 by 1. I knit 2 by 2, whatever. I did not keep good notes. I do not like the pattern writing from this designer. That's a personal thing. I'm sure that other people think that it's lovely. But I struggled with some key areas. She designs and writes her patterns in Magic Loop. I do not like Magic Loop, but she doesn't really say for anything else. She just describes it as Magic Loop, and then you have to figure it out for your knitting method if you're doing something different. I do believe that there is an error in her heel turn. So I had to use a different pattern's heel turn in order to make it work. I do not like her modified garter edge Eye of Partridge because it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you modify it when it's super easy? If you've ever done garter stitch Eye of Partridge heel flap, it's knit 3, do the pattern knit 3. Then you turn it around and knit the other way because that part you're knitting flat. You do knit 3, do the pattern knit 3. It's not that difficult. But when she modified it, my brain couldn't handle the modifications because it's supposed to be simple. It's simple. So I didn't like that. But I didn't make notes on what I did on this pair versus the Hermione's Everyday Sock, which was, I think, pair 1 of summer sock camp for me. And I was really on the struggle bus because I'm like, what did I do? So I winged it. They may not be exact. I mean, obviously the ribbing is different. On my first sock, somehow when I did the Kitchener, I was 1 stitch off. So the toe seam is a little crooked. On this one, I got this guy going on. I don't know what happened. I probably didn't pull it tight enough when I pulled the string to the other side. But it's a bummer too because my Kitchener stitch was pretty, I mean, look at it. It's pretty darn good. And where I started, man. So that's a bummer, but the thing is they are done. Mark it off the list. They are done. I'm so excited about it. I have a lot of yarn left over. Don't know what I'm going to do with it just yet. But this is lolodidit in the loriginal base in the color Happiness from the Quotable Dumbledore Club. If you've been enjoying the colors that I have from the Quotable Dumbledore Club, I was in it for the entire year, so I have all of them. She is starting to re-release them. As far as I know, she's released 2 of them to the shop instead of, they're not exclusive to the club anymore because the club's been over for a couple years. So if you want to follow along and see them as they are released to the shop, I would suggest that you go to her website and sign up for her newsletter. And then that way you can read the newsletters and know when she's releasing what. She has some really beautiful colors, and I do have a sweater quantity for Olive Knits sweater called the Brunswick. So I do really enjoy her yarn. It's really nice to work with. So if you're looking forward or liking the colors. Okay, so I finished that Saturday night, which was yesterday. And as I'm finishing the toe, I told myself, hey, listen, like yes, you have a goal to get all of your WIPs done. Now you're down to 2, but you promised that guy from church that Musselburgh hat a year ago. So again, I was an adult. I did get to cast on something new, but I'm also fulfilling a promise that I made a year ago, and I never got to it because I was so overwhelmed with all the things. So I cast on yesterday. I'm using another Quotable Dumbledore from lolodidit. This is called Earwax. I can't remember what any of the quotes are, but they're around somewhere. Okay, I gotta just rearrange this. I got a mess going on here. I need to get up here and clean. This pattern starts at the crown and goes down, and then goes down, and then you decrease so that way you can fold the hat into itself so it's a double thickness hat. It's amazing. My husband loves the one that I made him. I was struggling because I wanted to do it on DPNs and then transfer it to my 16-inch needle, and I tried 4 times and I had to give up and do it on magic loop, even though I hate magic loop. So what I did was I did it on magic loop until I got to row 5, and at that point I had 32 stitches that I could put over 4 needles. So I put it on DPNs. Then I knit on DPNs until I got all of the increases done, and then I switched it over to my 16-inch needle. So if you're following along here, I got quite a bit knit already. And here we are. So I was knitting. I knit this morning before church. I knit while I was on my way to church, on the way to pick up the people for church, on the way to drop them off, on the way home. Like I was knitting. And then of course I was knitting while my husband was napping, because that's what happens. And I'm really liking how this, I still don't think I would want socks, but I am liking the way that it is knitting up. And I think that he will enjoy, our friend from church, he will enjoy this. So what did I wanted to tell you something else about this hat, but I can't remember because this is the second time I'm filming and I forgot to push the button. So the first time it didn't film anything. I was talking away, and it wasn't there. But yeah, I am enjoying this so much more on the 16-inch needle than I did the other 2 on magic loop, for sure. And it's obviously a lot faster because I don't have to mess around with repositioning my needles every half of a row. So I'm knitting away. What I am going to do with this is take this as my work knitting project. I'm going to work on this on my lunch. I don't get a lot of cross stitching done during lunch because I can't cross stitch and eat at the same time. But what I can do, and I'm afraid to get my hands gooey and touch the cross stitch because I don't wash my cross stitch. But these things I can wash, and I do wash, so I don't have to be as careful. But what I can do is that I can scoop a bite, and then I can knit when I'm chewing. And then I can scoop a bite, and when I'm chewing, I can knit some more. So I can actually get more progress done on this than I can on cross stitching. So I'm going to take this to work, leave it at work Monday through Friday, bring it home over the weekends. If I get more time to stitch on it on the weekends, I will. So that is that. Okay. So that's everything that I've worked on through this morning. Now, the wheel spin for the cross stitch for the week was Narnia. I'll put up a picture of what it's supposed to look like because it's a digital pattern. This is from the Stitching Book Club. You can follow her on Facebook. So the premise is you buy the pattern. On day one, you get an installment, and you get an installment, and you get an installment, however many installments there are. And then at the very end, you're supposed to read the book along, and then at the very end, there's a book club day. And so then you get together virtually, and you go over some questions about the book. So this one is the only one that I've done with her, but it is Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Chronicles of Narnia. And this is not even all of part one. I'm stitching, let's see, where am I at? These little doodads down here, I don't know how many there are. I'm assuming that it's mirrored on this side, and then there's a band, at least one band that goes down along the bottom. I got rid of all of my installment pieces when the final pattern came out, so that way I didn't have to store all of them, because I thought that was silly. So I don't really know where the breaks between projects are, but I'm pretty sure that there was another band going across the bottom to finish off week one. And I think there was 2 more installments. My issue with this one, not that it's not pretty, not that the pattern itself is done really well. It's me because of all the color changes. There's, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 6 or 7 colors just in the Starburst alone. I just can't, guys. Oh my gosh. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to get as much progress as possible. I might do 1 strand at a time along the side to get me down to the bottom, because there's more stitching on the bottom with less color changing. So I'm going to give that a try and see how that works. But I'm going to try to get as much done on this as possible. But since this was like a 6 to 8 week project, because of the different installments, I know that I'm not going to finish it in the 1 week that I spun the wheel for. So it will have to be spun several more times before this gets complete, and I'm okay with that, and it's fine. I'll just be happy to get some kind of progress on it, because it's almost a year old now, I think. This is 28 count white Monaco with the DMC that she called for in the kit. She did not call for any overdyed or anything like that, strictly DMC. That kind of makes it affordable for a lot of people to be able to participate. So let's see how much I can get done. This one calls for a lot of floss, a lot of colors. Let's see how far we can get. Okay, first thing is my sister and I were talking one day about crochet hooks. And that you're working on a project, but you have to set it aside, but oh shoot, it's using the hook that I need for this project over here. You take the hook out, and you can have the same problem with your knitting needles. You take the hook out, and then you go back to the project, and you're like, no hook. What size hook? I don't know what size hook. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see these very well. I'll show you a couple of them. But here, I'll see if I can back it with this little swatch. Anyway, here's 2. They have the letters on them. I hope I'm showing you that. So it's a H and a G. And so they have lobster claws. And so you hook them on your project. And so when you come back to your project, you know what hook you're supposed to pick up. It's like genius, right? So she gave me, what'd she give me? She said FGHIJK. So, you know, the more widely used ones. Really, my favorite hook size is H, but it just depends on what the pattern calls for, and then that's where you start to get gauged. Just with knitting needles, it's no different than that. You kind of start with what's called in recommended in the pattern, what she used or he used for the model, and then you go from there to find your gauge. But these are probably the more widely used ones. She would make me more if I asked her to, but I don't think I'm going to need any. So that is something, she gave me these. When she gave me that yarn that I showed you last time, I just forgot they were in the bag that I was knitting with the poncho. So, okay, the next thing is I'm in a swap page And this lady, the stitcher, was giving this away because she just said, I'm not going to finish it anymore. I got the pattern and her progress from her. I need to get the floss. It looks like it's using DMC. I don't think it's using any overdyed. This is Into the Jungle by it's not Owl Forest. Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So she has this much done. Let me see if I can. She's got quite a few done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like 8. I don't know if this one's done because it's not as tall as the other one, but there's at least 8 and then at least 3 started. I think there's 12 altogether. And then there's a banner that goes across the top that says Into the Jungle. I obviously don't need this for myself, but I figured it would be a great piece to finish stitching and then give to a young family at church. So my plan is to finish the stitching, get it ready for display, and go set it on the check-in table with a little note that says free to whomever would enjoy this. And then they can just take it. So, and the lady that sent it to me, I told her that idea and she really loved it. So I'm glad that I was the person chosen because she really liked that. But she sent it free of charge. She sent the pattern, sent her progress. I just have to pull the colors. I didn't even really look at the pattern, so I'm not sure what I'm going to need, but it looks like it's DMC. So I'm really excited about that because I can easily pull colors and then I can, whatever colors I have, I can work on those first while I wait, but it's going to have to go on the WIP wheel, isn't it? So that means I'm back up to 29 WIPs. So Joann's was having a sale on ribbon. I was supposed to get 4 spools of ribbon, but there was what my daughter says a snafu. And so I got 3. I don't think I'm going to have time to talk to you about it now because my phone really does not like 30-minute videos. I don't know. We're probably at about 20 minutes now. So I'm going to have to save that story for a different time, I think, because it could get long. But I got the 3. I got them for like $1 a piece. So $1.20, $1 a piece. That's a really good deal. So I picked those up for some fall decorations. I got 2 exactly the same because it doesn't really matter. The smalls from where there are bees will fit perfectly in here. I could not find, it doesn't say how big they are. So I told my husband we need to go to the school supplies, get a ruler and measure. I could not find a darn ruler. And we were at Walmart, for crying out loud. I could not find a ruler. So I said, be smart. Post-it notes are 3 inches square, 5 inches square. You know, they're square. So, and it tells you the size right on the package. So I went and there was a pack of 4x4 Post-it notes. I put it in here and it didn't quite take up all the space, but I figured that the opening was 4.5 inches. So I was a little resourceful. I figured it out and I said, I had pre-measured my piece. Be like, okay, the minimum I would want to go and the maximum I would want to go. So the minimum was 3.5 inches square. The maximum was 6 inches square. So this is right in the middle and it's perfect. So I got the 2 to match because I want, because they're from the same thing, I wanted them to match. So I got those. So I told you I got the finishing pieces. I'm all set and ready to go. And then this is the tray that I got for the biggest piece from where there are bees. And if you remember, I told you this was the most costly finishing piece that I have purchased so far at $12. I can't believe that I spent $12. It's from the Dollar General, but I did find a ruler at Dollar General. I measured it and it's perfect. The inside of the tray is perfect for the project where there are bees. So I'm going to finish that project and the pumpkin carriage. Hopefully soon. I need time. And some of my Saturdays just get super busy with whatever and I don't have time. So as soon as I get time, I will get them done. So that's all of the acquirements that I got this week and all of the projects that I worked on this week. So plans moving forward is kind of the same. Get the whips done, knitting whips done, and then follow the wheel and what the wheel says and see how much progress I can get. If I were to happen to get the hat done, and I'm sorry, I don't know if I told you that's Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague, and of course all of the information will be in the description box of this video. You can look there, and as always, you can email me at harmonystitches21@gmail.com. My address will also be down there too. So, if I happen to get the hat done, it's going pretty quickly, but I mean, you knit a lot before you do the decreases. If I happen to get it done, then I think I might start on some dishcloths because, like I said before, even though we know when Christmas is, time goes by pretty quickly. So I will have to get started on some of those. I have 12, but I'm thinking I want 20 to 25 so that way my coworkers can just choose. And then whatever I have left over, I will include them in the gifts to other people. So like my mother-in-law, my mom, you know, my husband's stepmother. So I will include them for other people as well because I will have plenty. I think I have, what did I have? 12, did I say? And then I bought enough yarn to make 16. So that's like plenty to go around, and then I'll be able to keep some for myself as well. So that is the plans for now. Still have to narrow down what sweater my daughter wants to start with first so that way we can start hunting for yarn. So that's on the agenda. But mainly our family has been overtaken by walking challenges. In a previous video, I talked to you about the one my husband was doing. It's Lord of the Rings by The Conqueror. So if you Google the Conqueror challenges, you'll be able to find that. There's a link for the Lord of the Rings ones at the top of the page because they're special. It's a special challenge. He's got all 5 of them. He received his second one in the mail the other day, and he's working on his third, which is a relatively short one. I joined yes.fit, and I did a Winnie the Pooh one. If I have enough room on this video, I will go ahead and insert a photo of what it should look like. I have 32 more miles to go. And then my daughter joined the Conqueror for the Berlin Wall. So that's pretty cool. If you would like me to talk more about the walking challenges separately, I will do a bonus cut video, but let me know. I'm not going to do a bonus cut video if no one's interested, because it does take time, but go ahead and comment below if you would like to hear about the walking challenges. My family was pretty sedentary, and they've got us up walking. And my husband his first challenge was 145 miles and his second challenge was 98 miles. And so he started July 25th and he had a surgery in there. So just saying that the challenges and getting these cute little medals in the mail have really encouraged us to get up and moving. My daughter biked 6 miles yesterday to log on her challenge. So if you want to hear about it, comment below. I will do a bonus cut video so that way it's separate from the cross stitch, but that is what we've been up to. I hope that you've seen something in my video today to encourage you to pick up a languishing WIP or maybe to try something new. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week, and until next Sunday, bye.